What's going on, everybody? This is Sunaak here, your coach for the Texas Tyrunts here. I am bringing you week 2 of the IBA, and I'm going to be going against Talon Master J here. So, as you can see, the teams here that we brought, I brought the Garganackle, the Florges, Meowscarada, Florges, the Salamence, and the Muck. And he brought Noivern, Clodsire, Iron Valiant, Titan, Rotom Wash, and Skeledirge. The Garganackle, I had the leftovers, Assault Vest for the Florges, Scarf, Meowscarada, the Wikiberry, Hydrangea, and then the Boots, Salamence, as well as the Black Sludge Mug. So, I decided to go off with the Garganackle first turn, leading off because he is my rock setter, so that's why I opted to go for him first, but as Talon Master J here is definitely one of my... It's going to be the second time that I go ahead and face against him in any league overall, so definitely go check him out and see his perspective of the battle. But as we both make our selections, we're both going to go ahead and get into this match, and I'm coming at you again post-commentary, so hoping that this time is a lot better compared to my week 1, so... Alrighty, so getting into this match, he goes ahead and leads with his Clodsire, as well as I lead off with my Garganackle here, so very interesting play here for both of us, which puts me more of in a bad position because he does have the rocks as well to him. So here I kind of debate really heavily whether to go for Earthquake or Stealth Rocks, but I believe here in first turn I go for the Earthquake for some early damage. Since the Clodsire is poison type, I can go ahead and hit it for some super effective damage. So I do opt for the Earthquake turn 1 here. We can go ahead and choose our moves, thank you. So getting my Earthquake off, the Clodsire does do a big chunk on it, but he is able to get his rocks off here, which is a little bit unfortunate on my end. I should have probably gone with the rocks first turn and then switched out, because this does put me in a bad position. So if he does decide to go for a ground move, it will hit me. So I do go for my Stealth Rocks here, just hoping I can at least get them out, knowing that I am faster. But he goes and switches into his Rotom Wash here. So while I do get my rocks off here, which is really good, unfortunately he doesn't have to deal with the damage here, so fortunately for him. So, but we do both have rocks on our side, so pretty good spot for both of us, I guess. But here I do end up switching into my Meowscarada. So because it is a water type as well as an electric type, I thought, you know, maybe the resistances on both of those will help me out here. So I do go for the Meowscarada, which was kind of an unfortunate move on my end, but you'll see why here in a second. I did bring the Protean this time around, which was actually very, very beneficial to me compared to what I did week 1. So the Meowscarada comes in, or Ellie, as I should be calling them by their nicknames. There's a reason why I nicknamed them. So unfortunately takes some stealth damage, but not too bad. But we do switch into a Will-O-Wisp, which really, really cripples Ellie for the rest of this match, which is unfortunate because I'm really relying on Ellie for a lot of the damage that comes in. So it's kind of unfortunate, but that Flower Trick will come in useful here. So I do go for the Flower Trick since the crit will ignore the burn. Hoping that if he does either switch in or stay in, I can maybe potentially damage this Rotom really well. Okay, so he switches out his Rotom here, which is kind of unfortunate for us. He brings in Boomin, which is his Noivern. So that is really unfortunate for me because that is, I think, 4 times resisted. I could be wrong, but he does see that I am Scarfed now. The reason I did Scarf this Meowscarada was to outspeed the Noivern in this case, but it did switch in here, so I didn't really get to see that. Did a hefty chunk, though, which was actually pretty nice. It is leftovers, so it does get a little bit back, but with this burn really crippling me, it does kind of make it unfortunate. But again, those critical hits do come in clutch. Since I am Scarfed, I do have to switch out here because this Noivern is going to be definitely eating up the Flower Trick all day, so definitely gonna get this switched out. I believe I do opt for my Muck here, Biohazard, because I did bring the Ice Punch for that 4 times weakness on the Noivern, just in case if I did get caught in with it. But I do have the Ice Punch just for that. So we do get the switch out here, and unfortunately with it being a hard switch, he's gonna go ahead and get his move out onto me. But since Noivern is a really good pivot Pokemon, which you'll see here, it does go for the U-turn, which Biohazard eats no problem. He does get to kind of get a free and clean switch into the Muck here, which is a little bit unfortunate for me. But with me bringing out the Muck and him being able to switch out on that U-turn, I believe he brings out his Rotom here. He goes for the Rotom, I believe. I'm trying to like look at my notes and stuff that I took while watching this match as well, so kind of help me in the future videos. So the Rotom does come in, takes a little bit of chip damage because of the rocks, but it does have that leftovers to hopefully mitigate that damage for it. I do have my Black Sludge, so we are both popping off the recovery, which is great. I'm kind of stuck into this position here because I only have really effective moves, and I think I was kind of looking at his team, debating whether to go for. So I do go for the Stab Poison Jab, and he gets his Volt Switch off here, which is kind of unfortunate. But I do go for the Poison Jab to get some stab damage, as like I said. I think he goes into his Skeledirge here. So it does resist us, and that's really the only switch in that I was worried about here because of that. But yeah, his Skeledirge does come out. Birdie Ghoul, which is actually a really funny name, but we do get the Poison Jab off, and very luckily we get some hacks off on our end with the poison here. So also with the Stealth Rock damage, does put him down a fair decent amount. I believe it already knocks him down, yeah, way more than half. So a lot of unnecessary damage on this thing, which makes it really good potential for the Shadow Sneak here. This was also another reason why I did bring Shadow Sneaking Muck here, because it does get that priority. And if he doesn't Terra here, which he doesn't, thankfully, I do get my Shadow Sneak off and get some super effective damage. And as well, I don't eat this fairly well. Do kind of... And the special defense drop, which is kind of unfortunate. But with that Black Sludge recovery, do kind of boost us up a little bit. But, yeah, I think here... I don't think he really has any point in keeping this thing alive. The rocks are going to knock it out the next time, or the poison's going to kill it. So I do get a free KO here with the Muck. Which is 1 KO from Muck here, which is pretty nice. The free KO. Get some more Black Sludge recovery here, which is always really nice. Try to get some HP, even if it might be 1, that could potentially help it live. But he goes for Awuga, which is his Titan, which, by the way, great shiny color scheme. And his team does not like the rocks at all. As you can see here, it does take a quarter HP every time it's super effective to it. But unfortunately, Awuga goes for the Earthquake here. Does pick up the KO, which is a little bit unfortunate. But does give me an opportunity to bring in another Pokemon for free here, which I believe I bring in the Ceruledge at this point in time. I was debating really heavy here. But I do bring in the Ceruledge here. Rebel the Ceruledge. Unfortunately, that Rocks is kind of a problem on my end too, but... Here, I do have some options, but I do go for the Bitter Blade. So if he does not Terra here, I can get some pretty good damage off. Even if he does Terra, which his Terra typing is Fairy, I can still hit it for some pretty good damage, at least neutral, instead of super effective. But since the Titan does have a lot of HP, I can potentially recover quite a bit if it does land pretty well. So we're both kind of he was thinking a little hard here, debating whether to switch in maybe or to Terra here. Maybe thinking I would probably gone for some other fire move or something else rather. But he does get his Terra off, which I said before, he is the captain. He did draft the Terra Fairy typing. So, which is honestly a pretty unique choice to Terra the... What's it called? The Titan here. But I do get my Bitter Blade off, which does some pretty good damage here. despite it not being super effective. I believe if it was super effective, it would have killed, but we do recover back up to full here. And he does pop off his citrus berry, so he's going to kind of just recover all of that back. So here comes the earthquake, and unfortunately does knock us down to 12 HP. Rebel kind of frail on the physical side, but I believe I just go for the... looking at my options here, I didn't really have too many to go into. And with the rocks kind of coming in play here, I don't really opt for another switch like I did kind of like with week 1. Really weighing in my options, I do go for the Bitter Blade to maybe see if I do live another one, but I really doubt it since that Earthquake really did that much damage. We do only really, like, we're almost to half, but not quite. And the Earthquake does come in, and Titan does pick up another KO here. So kind of in a bad spot on my end. He is down 1 while I'm down 2. And with that Titan coming in and really being a threat, I really am kind of stuck in a lot of places here. So I'm really debating here whether to bring in certain Pokemon. I think I was thinking about maybe the Meowscarada to come in for a U-turn kill, but then I do have the Salamence with Moxie this week, so I could bring it in. It is just that fairy typing that I was worried about, but I still don't really care really at this point. So I bring out the Salamence to hopefully get that pick off for the Moxie boost. So let's see here. I think I was kind of debating heavy whether to Terra or not, because if he does go for the Earthquake, I do have the Flying type. And I think when I thought about it too mid-match, I was like, if I Terra Steel here, he can Earthquake and easily pick up another KO here. I don't think Titan is faster than me, but I think I just go ahead and go for a normal dual Wing Beat here. Just hoping to maybe get the KO if he doesn't switch. But he does opt to switch out the Titan, which was honestly a really good play for him. So the Rotom does come back in here and will take some more Stealth Rock damage as well as his dual Wing Beat. It does a pretty decent chunk, but it takes it very well because of its the Electric typing. So it's going to get its leftovers recovery here. And I am kind of put into a situation here because I do make a huge mistake here, not learning from what happened to Ellie. So I believe I make a pretty bad play on my part here, kind of like not really making a lot of notes in person as well. So I think I didn't make notes during the match. And I don't really I kind of forget quite often what happens, especially if a lot happened in between. So I think I go for a Dragon Claw, or is it Dragon Dance? I go for a Dragon Dance here, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to be sitting pretty here because I thought he had a Water Move or Volt Switch only really much. But he goes for the Will-O-Wisp here, which is kind of crippling another one of my physical attackers, which is really, really bad. So now that both of my physical attackers are crippled, I'm not really left with too many options in that regard. So really, really good play for him to bring the Will-O-Wisp Rotom this week. Here was another choice that I was really debating whether to go for more Dragon Dances to kind of hopefully mitigate some of that burn debuff. But I think I go for a Dragon Claw here just to kind of pick off some more damage onto the Rotom. I was really worried about the Titan coming in because of the fact that it is Fairy now and it will resist the Dragon. But I think I still just kind of go for it, being if that's the case, then I can kind of maybe sit on the Titan a little bit with more Dragon Dances. But he goes for a Hex here, which is actually really, really good strategy because it does get boosted because of the burn. So really whittling away my Salamence here, which is kind of unfortunate. And with it being burned and as low as it is, I think I just kind of offer to sack this thing because of the fact that, you know, it's not going to be really doing much later with that burn whittling it down. So I go for a Dragon Dance here to hopefully get some attack boosting off. But he will go ahead and go for the Volt Switch here, which picks up the KO. Not too surprised because Salamence is not super bulky, but I was actually kind of a little bit shocked. I don't know, I thought I was thinking resistances, but I forgot I was part flying. But either way, it does pick up the KO for the Rotom there, so he has to bring in a Pokemon, which is really good for me because I can get some intel before bringing in my Pokemon. So he brings back the Noivern, which really good because it is taking some of that rocks damage too. But with this knowledge, knowing that the Noivern is out, I have all my remaining Pokemon can be a really good choice because of their typings and stuff. However, they are super slow and he can U-turn out like he did before. So I do bring in the Meowscarada because of the Scarf. Hopefully being able to damage it before he leaves. So I opt for the Play Rough here, which I think was probably the better play for me because if I go Grass or Dark, the U-turn's going to do super effective damage on me. But I do pick up the critical hit Play Rough on the Noivern. I'm not 100% sure if that mattered or not, but I'm going to say it does because of the burn there. But that does pick up a KO for Meowscarada, which was very nice and very clutch because that was the... With Meowscarada and Noivern speed tying, at base stat wise, I was really worried about that thing. Since I am locked into Fairy, unfortunately, I can't switch my typing or do anything else. The Clodsire does come back in, which was very smart for him to bring out because he could deal with it. And I don't really have too much of a good switch in other than Garganacl here. But with me being Scarfed, I am gonna have to switch out here, and I think I opt for the Garganacl at this point because he is the poison type. If Ellie stayed in, I would have lost it, as well as unnecessary poison damage coming into the Florges. So Biome comes back out, which is he does pretty much read this switch in and curses up in my face, which is very good read on his end, getting that boosted defense and attack here. So basically a free turn of curse for him, which is very nice. I do get my leftovers popped back up, but well, we both do at this point. Well, his Black Sludge. I think I'm kind of backed into a corner here because I really at this point I don't have much to go for other than EQ. Now that it's kind of free since that Noivern's gone. So we both kind of start slugging back and forth with the EQs, which with his defense boost really made it work for him and was a lot better for him because of the fact that he is able to eat up more of the earthquakes. So with that, I just kind of opt for another earthquake, and we both do, and pick up some pretty good chip and almost get it down, but again, that curse came in clutch for him there. And he picks up the KO on the Garganacl with the Clodsire, which is very unfortunate because this does make us... it does put us into a situation of a 2v4. So not looking too good. Not looking too good. So with that, I do opt to bring in the my Hydrangea, the Florges, because I do have Psychic on it. I did put Psychic on it just in case if he did bring the Clodsire and I was stuck into this thing. You know, just for more options and stuff. So with that, he was shocked that I did have Psychic, so he didn't really know that Florges did get Psychic. So I caught him off guard with that, which was very nice. So does pick up 1 KO for Florges. And there is the 2-minute warning, which is very unfortunate that, you know, Pokemon and Game Freak still decide that there's this 20-minute timer. But Awuga comes back out, and really thankful for the stone damage here. It does mean I can pick up a KO, but I can pick up the KO, but the Titan is very scary with its physical damage, and I believe it does outspeed Florges here. I really kind of debate whether to go for what move, and looking at his team, I opt for the Moonblast because it really doesn't, like, nothing, like his Iron Valiant couldn't take a Moonblast for me, so it is stabbed and it does really good damage. So here, Florges does pick up another KO. So Titan down, and it does put us into a 2v2 situation now. So it's kind of picking up a little bit, but we're not out of the woods yet, because with that earthquake doing as much damage as it did make it kind of unfortunate, and we are down to the last minute here. So Rotom does take some more stealth damage here, and like I said, I was kind of debating whether to go for either Energy Ball, Psychic, or Moonblast, just because of the Iron Valiant sitting in the back. But I do opt for the Moonblast here because of the stab damage. He is able to get a Hydro Pump, but thanks to Florges' very, very nice special defense, I am able to take that and recover with my Wiki Berry. So Florges does come in and pick up another KO, putting us in the lead for 2-1. And with that, 18 seconds are coming down to the wire here, so we're both kind of spamming A really quick, going through. And here's where it kind of falters a little bit for Talon. Unfortunately, he does have a banned item and a legal item with the booster energy. And even with the abilities and everything popping off, the timer does go down to 0. And we actually pick up the W here because of that timer. So very, very hard fought win there. Surprisingly that we came back from that. Just saying, the timer really mattered a lot, but unfortunately for Talon, even if it didn't go to timer and Iron Valiant came out and beat everyone, because of that booster energy, he would have unfortunately had to take a forfeit loss there. But, you know, thankfully it didn't have to come down to that. We didn't really reflect the stats that way. But either way, Talon Master J, fantastic person. Please go check out the links down below to go check out his channel. As well as we are 1-1 in the league, and I can't wait for you guys to see week 3. And thank you so much for watching. I'm your coach for the Texas Tyrants. I'm Sunaak. See y'all in the next week.